eclectic method.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Until their client either buys or fucking dies!
Sober. Fucking sucks. Boring, right? So boring. I want to kill myself.
Get fucking rich. Who's rich every fucking time? All we care about is getting fucking rich.
Fairy dust. It doesn't exist. It's never landed. It is no matter. It's not on the elemental chart. It's not fucking real.
YouTube, Facebook, video, SoundCloud, Twitter, Instagram.
The great motherfucking eclectic method. God, I love him so much. Edge, brother, I think you got a drug problem, man. I think it's you this week, Edge. How you guys doing? Good morning. Good morning, Henry. Good morning, Biggie freaking Poppins. How you guys doing?
GM, brother.
Good morning. Funny, Mr. C, a good friend of ours, sent me a picture of me, him, and Eclectic from about a year ago, and I should post it in idiots because his face is hilarious. But yeah,
From NFT, like Lisbon or something.
Yeah, it was Lisbon, and just like the expression on his face was just it just fits him perfectly.
From Eclectic.
From Eclectic, yeah. He just looks like just looks like he's lost somewhere, but looks like he got electrocuted. And
dude, he's a maniac, like an actual, and he's like the funniest fucker, dude.
Hey, drop me the link if you would, please,
Sure.
so I can post it in CK.
Yep. All right, quick heads up. Okay, I prepped. I always prep for these, but man, like I did not have like a tight format for today, and just weird. There wasn't like, I mean, there's definitely big news last week, but there wasn't like a main story. Although I think the main story is ETH NFTs may be in trouble. I think I kind of am feeling strongly, definitely in trouble.
You're getting swayed into this. There's gonna be a ETH NFT apocalypse.
I think that could be. So I think that's mostly what I want to riff on today. Of course, we hit all the big points and all that.
Dude. Let's piss off the ETH maxis. Let's go.
Yeah,
I'm ready, dude. Because
I'm
I mean,
excited.
hell, I'm one of them. I mean, I was. I know most of us have been or are, whatever. Right? There's something.
We're fighting
ETH
our own
has a
bag.
problem. We are, right? And I think that means we can be very fair about it because we all are heavily invested in ETH, and I do think there's a problem on Ethereum.
dude.
So check this out, guys. I got to show you something that's got me like grinning from ear to ear, and my daughter feels bad for me, but I got to show you. I put out a video a couple days ago, and it's kind of about this topic here. Which one is it? The Bored Ape's not cool anymore. Holders want out.
Ooh,
Separately, a culture war brewing, and honestly, there is something to that. Maybe we get into it today. It's actually a really interesting topic because there is a culture thing happening here. Like, you guys saw that NFT Bark. NFT Bark had tweeted out that there's a diversity and inclusive, kind of issue here in the space. And it's like, shit, we're bringing those vibes here, which, that stuff's fair. Like, that stuff should be talked about, but it's like, yeah, I don't know. So anyway, that kind of took off. Like, even Alex Becker retweeting that. It's like, get this shit out of here. There's something to it. It's like the holier than thou thing that's the problem. But anyway,
dude,
okay.
I totally am down to getting into this.
Oh,
Hell
it's
yeah.
spicy. Okay, remind me to get to that because it's not on my notes. Okay, but I do want to show, I put this video out 2 days ago. It's easily my most watched video at this point. 1,100 views, almost 1,200. Don't care much about that. It's the salty comments. That's what has me excited because, like, at first, dude, shitty comments about the way I look and NFTs being lame and all that stuff, they can bother you a little. And I felt like I was close to them starting to bother me, and they never did. Because I look at it like, dude, when people are like talking about it, that's the goal.
They're passionate.
When you're making content, you want people to engage, and if they're engaging by being like little shitheads, they'll take it. They'll take it, man. So, like, here's some comments coming from this last video. Basically, what I learned from this is showing up in people's YouTube recommended now. Because NFTs are getting back in the narrative, they're getting hot, and we should check Google Trends, but people are salty, dude. They hate NFTs. They can't believe they're back, or maybe they don't even realize how back they are yet. But we're getting the traditional, took a picture of your NFT, now I have it. This just in, they're never cool. It's just, man, I love it. Owning a receipt of a digital image isn't cool anymore. Just all of it. Absolutely love it. I'll show you my favorite. This one I kind of like was a dick back, but, just having fun. NFTs as a whole is cringe, so is this channel. Why is this garbage recommended to me? Kind of that simple. Just, it's recommended it to you, man. Maybe take a hint. Maybe. If you're watching, I'm sure you're not. The
algos don't want you to get FOMO down the line, and so you need to learn now, son. Oh, that's too bad.
Dude, it's
too bad.
We've been in it long enough to know, like, we believe in it, and part of our belief is how big it'll be, and that everyone is going to be in this one way or another eventually. I just want people to get it while they can actually maybe take advantage of it, while it can actually do something great for them. So, because we know it's going to click eventually, why wait till it's too late and when you've missed so many opportunities? It's weird. It's a weird thing, but
there's
anyway.
also the argument that, like, you're sidestepping a lot of the craziness that we're going through, right? Are ETH NFTs dead, or this is that? It's hilarious to me. That's awesome.
I love it. We're back. We're just so back, man. I love it. What are we going to do today, though? So, of course, we're going to touch on the NFT market, which, it looks phenomenal. Still in a really interesting place this week, and it leads into that discussion about ETH NFTs. They are in trouble. There's a problem there. We got a lot of evidence why. Maybe I shouldn't just like lay it all out there yet, because there's some good points and we should dive into each. But yeah, again, NFTs in trouble.
I am eager.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
I'll just say this: Bitcoin ordinals are so much more disruptive than not anyone, but most people realize. Even though people have already started buying in, they get it. They're like, okay, Bitcoin ordinals here to stay. I get it. They're going to be worth a lot. Okay. And I still think people are underestimating just how much. So that's what's got it. That's what has me so excited. And it's, to me, one of those things that's going to kind of bury ETH NFTs. So again, we'll get to that soon. Draco, good morning, sir. Great to see you. Let's do a quick run through some comments and see who's here. Draco the legend. This guy's awesome. He needs to be part of the Daily Show somehow, some way too. Mr. C, an old-time friend. Great to see you here. Biggie, do you know Mr. C?
No, I do not.
Oh, dude, that's
a cool node monkey. That's what is that? It's a zombie one, huh?
Dude, I just realized it's got the 3 eyes. That's very rare. You got a nice one.
Yeah, it's fucking dope.
Great node. Edge is here, edging like always. Edging while driving, which is kind of dangerous, buddy. Be safe. And WX, getting to know this guy recently. Love him. Great to see you here too, WX. Who else? That might be it for here. But ordinals are here to hang on. Okay, let me see what you said before that. Debt equals opportunity. I think liquidity is moving in pockets. Man, Draco's got great fucking takes. And you're welcome up too, Draco, if you want. So just a heads up. Ordinals are here to stay for fucking sure, and so much more than that. It's oh man, Biggie, I love Ordinals.
No, I was gonna say, are there people saying otherwise?
No, at this point, no. I think that's what's so interesting. At this point, everyone realizes it a year later, right? I wish people realized it a little sooner, but still, what they're not realizing is like the floors we see right now. We're gonna see 5-10x from there. It sounds bonkers. It does. It sounds crazy, but we're
Dude, I remember having conversations with some of my ETH NFT collectors. I guess we get to refer to them in this way now. But like, early in the year when they first started coming out and everybody was like, what do you think? Is it valid? Is it not? And just kind of like side-eyeing it, but not really sure. And now it's just prominently front center, right, of everybody's radar. It's cool.
It's like we learned in the bear market, most of these NFTs, like truly that utility is a meme. It really is for the most part. There's, of course, great builders out there, and there is some utility. But in the bear, people didn't value that utility. All you're left with is an NFT that gives you access to a community and is a flex. And man, when at the core, it's just that, where do you want your flex to live? Do you want it to live on Ethereum or do you want it to live on Bitcoin? And man, Bitcoin wins every time, especially if you can build utility into the Bitcoin stuff too. If you can actually make that programmable, you can actually do a little more with your NFT like you can on Ethereum. That to me changes the game, and that's exactly what's about to happen on Bitcoin.
That to me would definitively. I don't want to say because I really want to get into this ETH thing too when we do. But yeah, I think that's the missing piece for me with Ordinal still that has me, I don't know, hesitant sometimes. Although I do partake in Ordinals as well.
Yep. But well, just then a sneak peek, because that is what's coming. I mean, I hope people understand.
Quantum cats, yeah.
That is what's coming to Bitcoin, programmability. So picture freaking Uniswap on Bitcoin, decentralized auctions, faster ordinal trading, probably less fees, instant transactions, bridges, all this shit. Man, stuff we never thought would be possible on Bitcoin. It's gonna happen, right? There's some steps to getting there. And one of those steps is implementing something that's in testnet already. Opcat is live in testnet. People are building there to show. The devs want it. The builders want it. And Udi's got a lot of insight into what's going to happen, and he's very confident that it's coming to mainnet. So,
do we have like ETA by any chance as of yet?
I think we're learning that. It's kind of unfolding live. We're going to be learning that here probably over the next few months. It's kind of what the whole Quantum Cat journey is. It's learning how to get there. How do we do it? It's by building this narrative of that we need it. And then how do we get there? And then we show what people have been building over on testnet. And when people are like, oh, you can do that? Like, didn't know you could do that on Bitcoin. They're like, you can when you implement this. So how far off? Udi talks about it being a this year thing, which is really exciting. Yeah.
That's fast. That's fast. Do we have any like metrics, like for transaction times, throughput, that kind of stuff like that, or nothing yet?
I wonder if it's there. I imagine it's got to be on testnet because again, there are apps already built. So hopefully we'll get some of that kind of info and news over the next few weeks here. But I think it's coming faster than people realize. I would say it's almost a slam dunk too that it's going to happen. And when it does, again, that could bury this ETH shit in a way. We will see. It's definitely exciting stuff over there. Let me one quick peek at comments here, and then I'm going to dig into the markets. Yeah, I did say utility is a meme. Yes. What would make it different? Nothing. It's just if you already got the ultimate flex and you got a little utility, because like I said, everyone has like a little utility. It doesn't matter much. But even that, if you have that on Bitcoin, well, what does Ethereum have then that Bitcoin doesn't? So yeah, it's mostly a meme. But if you already got the flex on the OG chain and you got any of your utility needs that you might need, if you got it all there, man, what's ETH for? And I say all this still believing in ETH stuff.
But we're also probably, I hope, still in agreement that while all that might be true, it will probably cycle no different than ETH did, or the way that ETH does. Like, I personally don't think, by the way, like I'm a big fan of Ordinals, but I don't think Ordinals goes through this cycle, comes out the other side as something that's, when I say long-standing, that is any different than the ETH cycle's been.
It'll be very similar.
People will make money, and then 99.9% of it will go back to zero. and then we'll hit the next cycle and see what the new meta is there.
Exactly. Exactly that. And especially because people will flood to ordinals, will have nothing but junk there for a while, like just nonstop junk. It'll do the exact same. Big difference you have there, though, is Bitcoin maxis who still don't like Ethereum, who want to say fuck you to Ethereum and want to push up prices of ordinals to like astronomical numbers just for the fuck you to ETH stuff. That's why I think node monkeys will have a higher floor price at some point than CryptoPunks. Like, very possible that happens. And it's just because guys are cocky and like, just, you know what I mean? It's a culture thing. So, yeah, we'll get further into that in just a minute here. I just want to look at the market, and I'm looking at it live with you guys. I've not really dug into this morning, but this morning, the value of the market, that's what the index shows here, up just 0.15%. Wonder if there's any other insights we can get. It is interesting. Ethereum not doing so well as far as the NFTs kind of is pulling the market down, but it is Solana too. So past 7 days, the value of the market's down almost 3%. Past 30 days looking okay, though. Again, no real insights into that because, man, there's a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? What's the phrase? It's price discovery shit's going on right now, kind of across chains. So yeah, I'm not reading too much into this with crypto prices so volatile and people really figuring out what an NFT's worth. You know, this is just my temperature check and not much more for now. Sales volume kind of slipping the past few days. Yesterday, 51.2 million. That is cross-chain sales. Sellers down, buyers kind of flat, up a little bit though. Transactions down a little bit. Average sale price coming up. Trade profits, the most important thing to be watching. When it goes in the negative, that is rough. We usually see things pull back quite a bit, but we're still well in the positive here. In fact, over the week here, the past week, we hit, I think, almost a 2-year high. I think this day right here was the highest day of profit since May 2022. So really, really spicy stuff still here in the market. Top 10 here. Top 10 collections in the past 24 hours. Ordinals, number 1. Matt Fury, brand new Pepe collection. His first generative art collection, actually, as far as like these generative Pepe PFPs. It's your top Ethereum collection, which awesome collection. Really, they're just great. Wish I got one. CryptoPunks, Fraganas, Bored Apes, Pandora, Pudgies, Node Monkeys, D-Market, Mad Lads. I do have some comments about Pudgies. I do have some comments here about Bored Apes. We'll get into that stuff. They kind of are highlighting for me why the ETH stuff is in a bit of trouble, right? So we'll get into that stuff. Big sales in the past 24 hours here. Very nice CryptoPunk sale here. A beanie and 3D glasses punk. Oh, man, it's so close to $1 million. But 220 ETH. A lot of CryptoPunks in the top 10. Very big sales. And then lastly, here's your big sales in the past 7 days here, including that $16 million CryptoPunk sale, which is bonkers, man. Fuck. We got to look at that real quick. Bonkers. Second highest punk sale ever in USD value. Third highest ever in ETH value.
First one was 20-some million, right? 21 million. That was last cycle.
Yep.
Also, yeah,
and also an alien punk, right? I think the top 3 are all alien punks, maybe top 4.
Yeah, same in Node Monkeys too, right? Like that's why probably somebody swept like 10 of them. It's insane.
We saw a bunch of Node Monkey sales.
I suppose.
Well, and including an alien Node Monkey. Actually, somebody swept a bunch of alien Node Monkeys, but one of them going for 17 Bitcoin. So you got a lot of big believers in that collection. And I mean, again, I say this a lot now, but it's like they are the CryptoPunks. They are. Bankless putting out a thread just a couple days ago about that too. It's like when everybody buys into the narrative, some of the stuff doesn't matter if it's true. And by that, it's like, which one's the first original 10K PFP collection? Doesn't even matter. Doesn't matter that the Badgers actually started first. It just matters what people think of the collection, collectively. If people think it's the CryptoPunks of Bitcoin, it's the CryptoPunks of Bitcoin. It's kind of that simple. Assassin, good morning, sir. GM, also, ooh. We got to touch on CyberKongs, who had a big move this week. Pretty freaking amazing. And the owner of that alien punk, we do know, I can't remember. I didn't bookmark the tweet, but they did come out and say, I'm pretty sure. I think they came out and claimed it as theirs. So pretty great to see. All right, general market stuff, though. How are you guys feeling about where we're at? Because it does feel like we pulled back a little from last week, which was just a bonkers week. But how are you feeling about it? How do you think we're going to do here in the next few weeks leading up to the halving on Bitcoin? Just market in general. How is it to you guys?
You go first, Henry.
Well, okay. Oh yeah. No, it feels like exactly where we should be. Are you able to pull up the chart that you've shown before, the historical chart of where we thought we were in the cycle?
Yeah.
Where we kind of go sideways a little bit before, we get a little pump, go sideways after a pullback before we go on the next leg up. Feels like we're playing that kind of perfectly.
Yep.
I mean, you had
Okay.
Node Monkeys up, over 0.8, give or take, and Quantum Cats are running, and like everything was running, and now we got a little pullback. Bitcoin legged up to 70. I think we're right where we're supposed to be. People are going to take some profits, and then people are going to go in for the next run. So, what's nice about it? It feels good. Like it feels like things are where we think that they would go, and I think that gives you time to kind of prep for that next leg up. If there's some things that you thought you missed on that last run up, because everyone's always like, I missed this, I missed this. These are kind of those opportunities to be able to get into some of those things before we go on that next run. So I don't want to say it feels predictable, but I think we're all probably feeling that exact same thing happening. That thing that was probably happening with the ETH OGs in 21, where they were dumping on us, right? It's that thing that's happening right now.
That's exactly it, and that might feed into Assassin's comment here. When you're talking about getting to the all-time high so fast, are you talking like Node Monkeys hitting ATH, or are you talking like Bitcoin itself hitting all-time high? Because Henry's point here, getting to those prices so fast does feel like 2021. It's like when CryptoPunks hit 10 ETH, and it's like, holy shit, 10 ETH, my goodness, I'm selling and I'm taking some profits without realizing how high it can really go. It feels like we're at that stage right now. So like the chart you were talking about, Henry, I got it up on the screen. It does feel like this, man, I hate that little pop-up thing, but it does feel like we're in that phase, that little lull, leading up to something really, really big. It does feel like we're exactly there right now. Maybe timed perfectly with a halving too, maybe a month or two after that, but feel like we're there. And Assassin's talking Bitcoin all-time high, that we got there so fast.
Yeah, I subscribe very much to the halving thing. To me, I mean, to me, we're in the warm-up phase. Call it what you will. I love seeing this preamble because it's just like a taste of what things to come. But like, I'm not even suited up yet, Huda. I'm in the warm-up in the locker room, shooting the shit with my buddies. Like, I don't want to hear anything until fucking post-halving, 2 months after. Like, I don't know. I've been through a couple of cycles with this before to know that it's like clockwork. I don't want to say it's like guaranteed, but it is like clockwork. You remove that amount of supply, you have that shock, and that's where it's game on. So this is all just an aperitif for me.
Yeah, that's all a good way to put it too. I'm going to drop something on the screen, and I'm going to drop it in the comments here. So first off, I think it's obvious that the halving is going to be a catalyst for something, probably really big price action, both on Bitcoin. And I wish I saved a link. Again, I got to get better with bookmarking stuff, but I saw a really well-written article about how that impacts ordinals and why it's so bullish for ordinals too. And again, I don't even remember the points of it, but it just seems so clear. One of his points, though, echoed Udi's point about just how much money those old OG Bitcoin whales have already made. Like, man, they're set for life and still sitting on thousands of Bitcoin and like nothing to do with it. Now they got something to do with it. And again, it's just one of those really, really bullish indicators or signals or whatever we want to call it. I've got a lot of confidence they're going to throw a bunch of that into JPEGs. They have nothing else to spend it on. Nothing. Thousands of Bitcoin sitting there in a wallet. And what do you use it for? When you already got the nice house and you already got the car and you already got everything in life that you want and still sitting on thousands of Bitcoin, you buy some JPEGs. You just get a little spendy. You treat yourself to, some flex worthy shit.
Yeah, I agree with you, Assassin. I mean, it is very surprising that it came before. And what Draco's saying is also, there's some truth in that, right? I don't know if front running is the word I'd use, but definitely I think the ETF flows will. I think it's just adding food, what is it? Jeez, gas to the fire, Draco, in that regard. Maybe you're right. Like, maybe we will see post-halving like that. I don't know. Bitcoin skyrocket. I don't know what your predictions are. I kind of usually like to use the fibs and like the metrics of like the previous multiples to kind of gauge where I think Bitcoin will land. To me, anywhere from 150 to 200 is like a reasonable, sober. Like I won't be surprised. Getting past that, then I'll say, holy living shit! Like wow. And I'm still like not discarding it at all. Going above 200K. How it's gonna play into the other tokens, whether it's ETH and Solana and all that. That's where I'm most interested in, where I see the next inning of this game play out, right? Like once we're done settling that, Bitcoin is still king.
Well, dude, how interesting is it? Like the previous run, a big part of it was all that liquidity from stimuluses. We didn't have catalysts like this. We didn't have a Bitcoin ETF followed by an Ethereum ETF, like these true catalysts that drive all this, all this like institutional money into the space. This is still not like a mass adoption event as far as like normies. This is not normal people even coming in yet. This is just like that big time money coming in. So man, this is harder to predict than earlier cycles too, I think, because of that. It's
and we can't discount like the black swan / macro environment out there that can come in. I don't want to say like hamper our progress, right? But I haven't discounted the possibility of more printing coming out, for whatever reason. Like I still think something can happen, shit can hit the fan. And we can end up in that situation again where, governments need to send checks to their citizens, right? I do keep, somewhat track of like what's going on in China, Middle East, Ukraine. I think those are like, they can definitely sway the markets in a particular way. Let's see.
Well, imagine that we get to November and we get a different administration that's pro crypto in the U.S.
Right.
That's a catalyst that can really make things interesting.
This is what's so crazy is it's like, again, there's so many catalysts and they all have the potential to reshape this space. And there's even, okay, so I am going to jump ahead here and then we'll come back to this stuff, but there are also catalysts here for getting users in, to finally draw the masses into Web3. I wonder if you guys know what I'm going to drop here already. Take a guess. Did you see a big announcement here? I'll say it's in the gaming sector, but did you see something kind of massive this week? Any guesses what that is? Biggie, I think because we talked about it yesterday.
I already forgot, bro.
Right.
I'm trying to remember what, because I
Henry,
left
guess
early,
from you?
remember?
No, I can't. Yeah, no, we didn't talk about it, so I must have missed whatever it is.
Well, this surprised me, man. It did. I was not expecting this. Portal Coin. They teased earlier in the year that they have like the biggest announcement ever in Web3 gaming. And that announcement never came. They teased PUBG, but earlier this week they dropped news that they're launching a Dota 2 like world tournament, which is fucking like Dota 2 is huge, man. Huge. But it's going to have like in-game cosmetic rewards. I doubt they're NFTs. Highly doubt they're NFTs, but I imagine they're going to give Portal Coin as rewards. So I think you're going to get a lot of non-crypto people playing in the tournament because it is a big tournament at this point. And when they start getting crypto rewards, they start getting exposure to this world, this crazy freaking world we're all a part of now. This is one of those kind of catalysts. If they do Dota 2 and they followed up with PUBG and they followed up with whatever, right? This just shocked me. Again, I was not expecting something of this size coming from them. And now I know there's probably a lot more coming, but this is huge. Unspoken truth. ETH is dead. Never heard that before. Yes, dude, yes. I want to say this just to be super clear. When I'm saying this stuff, that ETH is fucked, like I do mean it, but also half playing into it a bit. Like Ethereum NFTs will come back. Ethereum NFTs will be fine. They will live on forever. They will always be a thing. But I do wonder I wonder a bit if they found their ceiling, I guess, and also if they found really their floor. I just think people are trying to really figure out how to value them. They thought they knew the value of them before. They thought maybe we figured it out in the bear, how low they can go. But man, Bitcoin wasn't really a factor in that yet. People really weren't thinking about, that option.
I mean, Huda, last cycle, like ETH maxis couldn't fathom there being another competitor to their chain, right? Like Solana, are you kidding me?
Right.
No, not a fucking chance.
Everything was a lesser chain.
Rollups and ZKs and like Solana doesn't stand a chance. It's centralized. It's hardware heavy dependent. Like, how could it possibly compete? And look at us now, right? And now even Solana, like, we're challenging it, right, with parallelized EVMs and other stuff. So I don't know, man. This tale of like it's dead, it's as old as time. So whenever I hear that, and it will get into that when Huda is like, to me, it's like, okay, that's already a hard pill to swallow for me. I do think, though, the ground is shifting, the terrain is, changing, and that's fair. That is fair. I do think certain things will go over to Bitcoin, others to Solana. I don't think ETH is dead particularly, but I do think it may surprise people that at least in this cycle, it doesn't perform up to their expectations. I think that's the issue here. I think a lot of people in ETH are looking over and they're like, damn, like, am I going to have to, hold my nose through this cycle and wait for the next one to really see if I get the returns that I had in my mind, right?
Dude, that's a great point.
That's
because
part
it does
of the
cycle
game,
back
dude.
to ETH.
Like, you don't get to time it perfectly, right? You don't get to buy a squiggle and say, I'm going to sell it for 10x in the next cycle. It's like, no, the market will decide, right? And right now, the attention is elsewhere. So you might have to hold your nose for another cycle.
Yep. Yeah, it's a great point.
Not easy. Surviving that easy.
That next cycle will be years off, like holding for a long time potentially.
5-6 years.
It cycles back to ETH, but what's the ceiling now? How high can it go? Well, yeah, I mean, that's what I think we don't know yet, and that's the interesting part to watch unfold. Just because this cycle there's going to be heavy attention on Bitcoin, on all these L2s. There's still L2s coming that we haven't gotten to play on yet, like Frame. Base is starting to explode. So, like, we're about to see a big rush, a big boom on the Base blockchain. We're about to see Say, I think, really start to compete with the big boys, too. I really believe
Blast,
that.
Don't fade Blast still,
And Blast.
Still
Let me
a
point
contender
out,
there.
we do now have Blast on CryptoSlam, guys. So if you're looking for sales volume, buyers, sellers, looking at the projects there, we are tracking that now as of just like 2 days ago. So good resource for you guys if you're looking into what's happening over there. I should mention some partners. I'll just mention one partner this week. Yes, Henry.
Yeah, I just wanted to add in on the ETH side of things. I think ETH in a lot of ways reminds me of the 2008 housing crisis, where banks were literally giving out money if you had a heartbeat. I don't know if you remember, but they had loans in the U.S. called stated. Basically, it meant like you just stated what your income was, you stated what your employment was. They gave you up to 100% financing on your house. Well, that led to a massive issue because they pumped a lot of money out there, and then once there was a correction, people were upside down, and eventually we know what happened. Following that, we had a whole bunch of houses that were kind of worthless. Certainly not worth anywhere near what the banks had loaned. And I think the lending protocols on ETH, whether it's Blur, there's plenty of them out there. Niftify, MetaStreet, they've propped up a lot of the prices by providing liquidity against, I don't want to say illiquid NFTs, but certainly we see what's going on with like Pudgies, right? You have a lot of Pudgies. We saw this with apes that were to a certain degree over leveraged as a collection. And then what happens when it drops? The floor starts absolutely tanking. And I think it's a little bit of an issue is that part of this DeFi is that you have these lending protocols. They want to make their money. People leverage their NFTs to buy other NFTs. And then once that collection starts dropping, it's this cascading effect. And I think it takes a while to work through that. I think it takes a little bit of time for the lending protocols to really know where should they be at, like LTV wise. But if they can figure that part out, I think it makes for a little bit of a healthier ecosystem all in all, because Pudgies, that's exactly what's happened. A ton of leveraged NFTs that ultimately get liquidated or floored, if you want to look at it like that.
And it's a huge problem.
So it reminds me of the housing.
Yeah, I guess it's a good analogy. Yeah, a lot of those expensive PFPs. I mean, the lending thing has added some volatility there, and that's like probably an understatement. It's all artificial. It's like while we're trying to find the correct prices of these things, we're having people that are farming and taking loans and just playing a game here. And man, it really fucks up prices. Pudgies was a perfect example. They saw a huge dump this week, a huge freaking dump. They got down to like 11 or 12 ETH, I think, as their floor. And this is where it gets a little funny to me. Like, I don't like it, but you got a couple guys coming in and providing liquidity, like buying up bad loans. And again, that artificialness to it just feels gross. But it's not just a Pudgy thing. It's like a lot of these ETH collections. Bored Apes saw the same thing. Let me see if I can find a little link I had here. I'm sure you guys saw this. 1 second. So yeah, you had people come in and kind of artificially pump up the Pudgies, try to save them from that crash there. The same is happening with Bored Apes here, where Machi Big Brother, dude, $24 million worth of ape coin. Like what an interesting timing to that whole thing, where he had a proposal, to get all this money to buy up apes and punks and mutants and dogs and put them in museums around the world. Well, first off, Machi's got a lot of votes in the DAO. Animoca has a lot of votes in the DAO. They basically control the DAO. This got approved, and all of a sudden, at their bottom, basically, when mutants fell below mint price, which is bonkers, all of a sudden he gets his wallets funded and he can go start sweeping up floors. That's weird, man. Like, that doesn't feel good. Something feels not right about that. Again, makes it feel a little artificial, and to me, super off-putting. I don't like it. I don't want to be involved in that game per se. And that's what goes back to, I think a lot of people don't. And if we're going to play NFTs like that, why not just play meme coins? Really? And
great
that's
point.
Beanie's
No,
take
great
here.
point. The further I feel like I've gotten away from mainnet, because I'm active on it project wise, but like I don't feel like it really reflects like what my soul is in Web3. Like I just don't feel that anymore on mainnet, because what you just described is what I feel on mainnet. The disgusting influencers, the artificial inflation of collections, lack of substance across like almost everything. And so the further I get from that, and the more like I've gotten into the Ron community, who I really have an affinity for, they remind me of us, like they're degens. And the more I get into ordinals, who remind me of us, the more that I subscribe to that idea. And you know me, like I feel like at one point I was an ETH maxi, where I'm just like, nah, nothing can take this. Now I'm like, yeah, take it, because what you're ultimately going to do is you're going to get rid of all of this crap. I can't take it anymore, dude. When I go on Twitter and I look at my timeline and I just see all this garbage, everything you just described, I see all these influencers and grifters who have come back out of the woodwork to pump their stupid coins.
I loved your tweet, by the way.
Yeah, you know what? And I loved your reply, and I'm so ready to name names but I'm like a little bit afraid to, as being like part of a project. I'm like, man, do I want to bring that on the community?
Yes,
but
you do.
I want to. Yeah, I want to, because I'm like, you grifters have been nowhere. You've done nothing. You contribute nothing. But then you come in and you pump these coins, whether it's like Wiz, Wizard of Soho. Even I saw K Money out there. Like they're gross grifters that provide nothing of substance to this space. Whereas like these other communities like Ronin, Ordinals, I can't say Blast yet. Like I got Blastopians, but I haven't really dived into that community. I know Draco, like Soul. These other communities, they give me that old vibe that we had. And if we can like keep those kind of people away or not give them the type of platform that they desire, I feel like those areas have a real opportunity to flourish.
So has your thoughts changed on ETH? I want to find out, because you said something earlier, because Henry used to be ETH maxi. By that I mean the future was ETH always being top dog. I think that was always my takeaway, or how you felt. That was my thought about how you felt about ETH. Has that started changing now?
Yeah, massively. It reminds me of like when I used to be in the military and post 9/11, and I used to be all, I mean, you know me, I used to be all like, hard for the US. Like, yeah, we're the best and we do good and we're, and then like my mind started to change as I got older, and I'm like, nah, maybe we're not like as awesome as we think we are. And maybe we're crooked and maybe we do some bad shit. That's that same vibe I have on ETH, which is like, most of this is nothing. It's literally nothing. And it's just this group of 20-something-year-olds that have made a lot of money, that like to, have their little Twitter Spaces where all they do is give each other their flowers, and then they pump their tokens on Twitter, and they're not doing what you're doing. Like, they're not doing on a daily basis what you're doing, just putting time into educating people, right? Like, isn't that what we all kind of thought like we'd kind of be doing, is telling people why this is cool and explaining to them, you know, statistics and details that matter to help them on their journey? I don't see any of that from these quote unquote influencers.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I've seen that ETH is just full of them, and these other chains. And I go back to Ronin because, you know, to me, Ronin, it's as OG as you get, right? Even though like the network itself might be somewhat newer, the people there really are what brought Web3 to the forefront. Every bit
Like
as responsible
builders.
as CryptoPunks.
Right?
Yeah,
Builders,
yeah,
grinders, you know, like guys who are interested in the tech, the best part of it. The reason we're not seeing these other guys really focusing on, you know, like the heart of stuff, like the tech and all that, because we've seen what makes something valuable is like attention. It literally is, the more attention something has, the more it's worth. So those guys are playing it the right way for what the market is. It just feels gross, and I'm not attracted to that part of the space. So, you know, so there's not going to be a lot of content like
we
this.
can really keep these type of, I mean, it's also a tale as old as time. You see it in the internet as well. Like, I think the reason you're not seeing them over on these chains right now is because they're still kind of relatively unknown, right? Like, we know that it's going to be they're going to be big players in the cycle. They have yet still to catch on. I notice it on Say, which is like the place where I've been playing a lot as of late, and you're starting to see a little bit of that, right? Like a lot of like copy pasta, me too, you know. I think it's like inevitable. You will see it on, even on Bitcoin. I like, my theory there is like, just wait until teleburning is unleashed. Like, oh my God, like you will see all these people pushing, we're moving to ordinals, make your money on ordinals, you know, inscribe on ordinals using whatever. It's inevitable and it sucks. But then I think it's part of the battleground too, right? It's like we all had to like take our licks and figure out who the real people were, and the earnest builders, and people are gonna get taken, and it's disgusting and it sucks. But I mean, you select the content that you wish to fucking consume, right? Like, we have our trusty viewers here, most of which we know from our communities. But, you know, every now and then we get a couple of new people, right, Huda, that come in and like are like really willing to learn. And you can tell people, right? Like, you can tell if it's like an influencer, you know, that's posting up like their profits and telling, you know, just literally pumping bags, versus somebody saying, I don't know, our NFT's really dead. Let's look at the charts. What do you think about this? And, you know, there's no clear-cut answers, but I'd much prefer a thinking conversation over somebody just telling you up only. But that's for you to discern, and that's for you to decide, you know, what you're going to follow. And I think there's just a lot of pendejos out there, bro.
Some
like,
pendejos.
And Biggie,
I love it.
The you know, if you know, we talked about like utility at the beginning, right? And Huda, you said rightfully so that very few projects have any utility. But if you don't have utility, then you at least need to have culture. And I think that most people that look into a lot of these mainnet projects, what is the culture? And if the culture isn't something that you have an affinity for, then you kind of have nothing. And to me, I think a lot of mainnet NFTs have just lost their culture. And I think that's a little bit reflected in the prices that we see. Because like the culture of Bored Apes is absolute garbage, man. Like how many mainstream people do you think look at the Bored Ape Yacht Club and are like, man, I want in there? Yes, there are people that do. But that's not us. You know, that's not the people. Yeah.
Can we agree, Henry, that like the culture was primarily based on flexing with the apes?
Man, in a large way.
In Yuga, yes, it's one of the reasons why I was not. I wasn't upset when I left apes, because like I didn't like the culture. I never did. Whereas like I'll juxtapose it with Kongs, a project that nobody talks about, but kept the culture through a bear, and has actually flourished, has increased holder count in the bear market. So yeah, I think I agree with you.
Yeah, I think like you know, and that's why I have an issue sometimes when we go into these things, right? And it's like, well, I get it. A flex is very powerful, but also I don't think we've yet established projects or products here in the state that like have reached like that, LVMH, Tiffany's level of flex where it's like timeless, like it'll outlast, like it's established. Like I know like CryptoPunks is one of those things that we like to point to, Squiggles perhaps, and maybe now like people are talking about Node Monkeys in that regard, right? But like at some point BAYC was talked about that way too, right? And it was a flex, and not so much anymore, right? Like, so that's one of those things that give me trepidation a little bit sometimes when it's like, hey, buy into this thing because it's a flex, man. Like, it's just never gonna go away. And to me, it's like, really, is it a flex or is it a fashion?
Well,
because
okay,
there's
question.
a very big difference, right? Like, is it an actual long-lasting, timeless brand, or is it like flavor of the cycle?
That's dude, Biggie. This okay.
Culture
Punks are a flex forever,
more permanent,
right?
And it's harder to build. It takes time and it takes actual effort, IRL connections, stuff like that. And to me, those communities are the ones that I gravitate to more.
So this fits right in because I have a question for both of you. Okay. Yeah, was it just a flavor of the month, or was it really a culture thing? And my question is, once you lose that thing where you're the coolest ever, right? Like you have to be cool to make it to succeed long term. Once you lose that, which Bored Apes have clearly lost that, can you get it back? I think you can, and especially in Web3, you have a better opportunity than anywhere else. But like we saw that with Zuki after Elementals, that was not cool anymore. For a period of time, not cool. They're cool again. Can Bored Apes become cool again? And cool to the level we saw them where they are just still the ultimate thing. You gotta have it. Like everybody wants it. Can they do that again?
I believe in possibilities. Like I wouldn't say I'm an eternal optimist, but I do believe in possibilities. I think it's possible. I think
do.
Not easy.
I think Yuga, or no, I'll say Bored Apes because Yuga's got punks now. I think Yuga, like the post Tom Brady New England Patriots. And they went from a dynasty to last in the division. Is there an opportunity for them to regain it? Yeah, I think there is, but I think it's an uphill battle because I think you have other projects that have shown that they have more long-standing culture, and I think there's just something about apes that put people off. So yeah, it's possible. Is it probable? I'm not sure. I mean, they've got big money behind them. Yuga still has a ton of money that they can use to push, the brand itself. But
well, think about this. The thing that would potentially turn Yuga around was the other side. If it was finally the pinnacle of the metaverse, right? Finally, this is what we've all been waiting for. And the fact that they showed it a week and a half ago and it was lame as fuck. It was lame because, man, it just showed me how little building they actually were doing in there. I know there's more that they haven't showed us yet, but the fact that it still looked like just another instance of that improbable, environment, man, I was kind of taken aback by that just to see how little was done there and how far we're so fucking far from a metaverse like that actually being a thing. And to me, that was the only way they turned it around. And now I see nothing that turns them around quick. Now, I've also said in the past, I think they'll mint another NFT collection, something that becomes like their pinnacle collection. They can't anymore. With how many NFTs they have, they can't fucking do that.
Man. What the fuck?
Dude, they're in real trouble.
You know what? Years ago, you had said, and I think you called it correctly, that it's going to be the microtransactions, it's going to be small gains, it's going to be that type of thing. What we'll ultimately see in the gaming sector that's going to really draw people into Web3. I think the idea that the flex is going to draw people in, I mean, that's a crapshoot, right? It's a lottery ticket that you mint something and then it becomes the next, the next Bored Ape. So I think the majority of people that are going to come in to be able to grind out pixels, or they're going to come in to be able to grind out a game where they can make $10 a day or, $150 a week. Or with that opportunity, as you've said, to like, man, I just got this item and it's worth 10 grand. And we're not going to see that in Yuga. And I think it's going to be those kind of projects that are going to start to really attract more people in. And people might be like, yeah, that's cool. You got an ape, or you got a Zuki, or you got a Kong, or you got a punk. But that I think we're already seeing it now with all these games with their tokens. that are dropping it to their communities, or people are farming them. I think that's going to be what we continue to see, even though it's not going to be that wow thing, right? It's not going to be like, oh my gosh, my PFP is worth 250 grand. You'll get those, but I think we're seeing it right now, that's where the meta is really going, which is why so many mints themselves are not doing so hot. Like most mints aren't doing so hot right now, right?
Yep. And I like the idea, and I think we're all believers in that gaming is going to work, and that's where you can actually get some sustainable growth and smaller gains, but something maybe more reliable. And again, it comes back to this, like this tournament, whatever Portal's doing might just be that. At the same time, everything Ronin is building is probably going to be that too. They've already proven they can do it with Axie Infinity. Pixel is red freaking hot. So same thing there. You can play a game and grind out profits, whether it's by owning land and playing, the land baron game, or, like trading in-game assets. There's going to be a lot of ways you can actually grind out those smaller things. But this also, I guess, brings me back to Beanie's point, and let me find from Tab Hell. But it's this. It's Beanie's point that, and it's feeding into our narrative here today too. You're going to see this move away from the NFTs, both on Ethereum and Solana, and he's right. At first, I was thinking just Ethereum, but it's NFTs in general, because it's meme coins. That's where you can really make your gains right now. It's easier. There's more liquidity. NFTs are just getting less and less liquid, it feels like. And the cycles with NFTs just feels like it's getting shorter and shorter. So, yeah, meme coins are really impactful, really, what's the word? It's detrimental to ETH. It's kind of why I think those ERC 404s could be much bigger than a lot of people are realizing. Like, it felt like a flavor of the month for a bit. I think it's much more than that. It's a nice middle ground, right? You get your NFT, you get your fungible token too. So I think there's a lot more there. Gotta say too, what happens when the DeFi stuff, the meme coin stuff really blows up on Bitcoin, which it already has with BRC20s, but we know runes are coming up too. How much more is that going to take attention away from Ethereum stuff? I mean, in my opinion, a fuck ton. This is why I think Ethereum is pretty well fucked in the short term here. Again, long term, I believe in ETH stuff. I do. The cream of the crop there will always have value, but if you can do DeFi on Bitcoin, have access to that much greater liquidity, and also have your flex-worthy PFPs there, again, what are we going to do on ETH?
Until Opcat, or like I've always said, L2s, I have a hard time like seeing that. And I speak from personal experience. I know I'm not unique in this, Huda, that, I still struggle, man, like spending my BTC. And it's like the reason why I've faded or missed out on like some really powerful, like great, assets, right? Like, I don't think I'm the only one. And, still like something like, NFTs and fine arts makes sense. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I do own ordinals, but it's not the way I partake in an ecosystem the way I do on Say, or the way I do on ETH-L2s. And honestly, like the more I transact on ETH or even ETH-L2s, I don't care if it's Blast or Base, the more I look over at Say and Solana, and I'm like, most normies, they're not going to give a crap. They're just going to say, look how fast this is. Look how cheap the gas transactions is. I don't care about ETH or ordinals. It's just too much. It's clunky infrastructure. It takes too long. It's very costly. We'll see. I mean, I'm not saying they won't. I'm sure there's going to be some meme coins that play out over there and do well. But I don't know, the DeFi stuff, to me, it's like I have to see Opcat out in the open already working, and if not, it's Bitcoin L2s where you will see that type of stuff.
Yep, good point. I think Draco said earlier too. It's kind of all that matters is liquidity. I don't know if you said it exactly like that, Draco, but I think there was a comment like that maybe like 10 minutes ago, and that's why why I'll say ETH is never dead. Once the liquidity, once people put attention there, everybody comes flocking back. So ETH is absolutely going to cycle again. And I think my point there is still like, I just wonder if ETH NFTs have a different ceiling, a much lower ceiling than we were used to in the past.
I think you're underestimating that, and I would love to invite you, Huda, this year to come to Marfa and check that out, because what we were talking about, Henry, right? Like culture, there is a very, very strong culture of NFTs on Ethereum that I just don't think you're gonna obliterate. It's like
Never.
really
I agree.
difficult. Like, and I'm saying, like, fine, like I can see some of this stuff migrating. I look forward to it. I can't wait to see the first fucking degen Teleburn a fucking Fidenza over to Bitcoin, right? But it will always be primarily an ETH NFT. And for that reason, for that matter, it's like I find it very hard to believe that certain communities in ETH are gonna die out because they've been grassroots grinding it out, building it from the. You can't hack that shit. You know, you can't growth hack it. You can't shoehorn it in with capital. That has to happen with time and effort, and it's been there for a long time. And I think anytime I go to Marfa, I come back and I am just so bullish on the space, on ETH, on the project. So, you know, to me, saying that ETH NFTs are going to die is overreach. Evolve would be the word I'd use.
Yes.
And I do think a lot of this stuff does need to die out. Unfortunately, you might not be happy of where it ends up going to die, Huda, because I do see a lot of this shit being flung over to Bitcoin just in an attempt to pump the bags, right? Like
Absolutely.
these dead fucking projects being like, hey, we're going to ordinals. It's
Dude,
going to be go to the moon.
Such a good point. Well, this is why
that fucking ecosystem.
it's going to happen. In fact, Ethereum roadmap. This is why right now is such an important time for anyone listening now who's still not in ordinals and who may still think they missed the boat. I beg you to please keep looking over there and see what opportunities there are that are affordable. We are in, let's say, the early 2021's part of the cycle for Bitcoin. Those art blocks collections from 2020, 2021, you know, ringers, fidenzas, chromie squiggles, all those things. And those early PFPs, you know, CryptoPunks, which were much earlier, right? But we're in the part of the cycle where those have, I think, been established. They are now expensive, but they're not at where they're going to go yet. They're really not. We're about to get all the shit in there. And when people see the shit, they're going to want to get into those, you know, those early things, the premium things, because those are the ones that do stand the test of time. So, yes, that is all coming. The awful part of Ethereum stuff and any blockchain. The awful part's coming to Bitcoin, too. Get in the premium stuff while you can. 0.31 is expensive as fuck. I'm looking at Quantum Cats. It's $20,000. But when these things are probably going to be 1, 2, 3 Bitcoin floors, you're going to say, oh, damn it, I wish I got it at 0.3. I think that's going to happen a lot. Even with node monkeys at basically 0.6 again. Same exact thing. Henry, go ahead, man.
I think we're going to cycle through. Yeah, sorry. I was going to say, I think we'll cycle through ordinals, projects, and communities faster than we did on ETH. I know English and I argued a little bit about this last week, but simply because there's virtually no revenue vertical on the ordinal side. So I think you're going to get, we'll have a handful of projects, 5, 10, 15, 20 projects that make it, let's say, out of cycle. But I think like with ETH, we had projects that were still hanging around because they had their mint funds, plus they had their creator fees that helped them kind of try to make some products or continue to push through the bear. I think on the ordinal side, you have your mint, whatever you're minting at, and then that's it, right? So I think it might be a quicker cycle.
Well, you're spot on, but again, saying where we're at in the cycle, the fact that we're at early 2020, 21, it's like 2021. There was nothing like that back then either. It took, a year or two of projects growing and realizing they had to actually build some stuff, like they had to at least try. That's the phase I think we're going to start entering now with Bitcoin. But you're right, up until now, it's just pure collectibles, pure art. There's not,
I just mean, how long do people, this is something that I think a lot of people don't think about. How long do people expect a founder to stay in a project when they made their money and they have nothing more they can do, and the project's not making them money?
Yeah. Talking about Bitcoin, like those kind of collections Bitcoin right now?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think, we'll see exactly that happen. People made their bag and they're out. Who sticks around? I think people like Udi. Quantum Cats, for some reason, remind me a bit of Kongs, too. They got a guy who's leading this thing that already is like, dude, he's set. He doesn't need money for anything. He's here for the culture and to build and because he loves it. So, and I'll pull this up because Q here brought up, we're talking about ETH NFTs dying, yet Genesis Kongs are still there. they're one of the ones that have that culture and community and the provenance and the legacy where they're always going to be great. And they did the smartest thing that actually is similar to what I see on Bitcoin. It's a tiny collection. That is an important factor here that most collections need to actually lean into. Stop with the 10K collections. They don't work. We still don't have enough people for that. But a 1K edition collection, yeah, that can work and that can hold up in a bear market. To me, that's the way to do it. But yeah, while I think ETH NFTs are going to see a different ceiling, you got those ones, and like English was saying, you got those early ones, the Fidenzas Punk Squiggles, they'll be fine. To me, Genesis Kongs are right in that conversation too. They're going to be fine.
Yeah, we feel pretty good. Also, we've got a community that's been rocking for over 3 years now. So I think to Biggie's point, I don't know what you can do to take that away. I think you have to like really go out of your way to fuck it up, to get people out of a project that have made it their homeroom. So yeah, I obviously I got an affinity for the Kongs, but I would agree with that.
Yep. Now we can probably tie up this part of the conversation, just the value of ETH NFTs. We'll keep touching on it throughout still too, but I still like to leave with this thought on Bitcoin and how high it can go. Like I like sometimes, okay, Henry and I were talking about this over the past like week or two, where you have conviction in something, you believe in it, and you share the info, and it just feels like it's not clicking with people, or they hear it and they just don't buy it, they don't believe it. When that happens, I will keep hitting on the point and I won't shut up because I believe in it that much. Biggie, you got something real quick?
No, yeah, I love this post, and I kind of I wanted to field test it, this theory, this thesis over at ETH Denver while I was over there talking with some people. And I don't know, man, like the response to it is a little bit mixed, and I think that they do have some fair points on the other end. And like I don't know. I don't know if it's this cycle, the one where you get to red pill these BTC super maxis that have been calling NFTs absolute shit, and that they don't want to see it in their chain. Like, I understand, like you will, and you've won people over, but to think that, I think like the way the post that the way Udi wrote it here, it's a little more like FOMO inducing, right? Like, and it's all good. Like I like that, but I don't know. I it remains to be seen. It's one part that I would love to have better analytics or analytic chops to be able to trace that and say, hey, are these like super whales, these old OG, like these old coins? Is that what is being spent here? Or is it ETH and other ecosystem people that are coming over here swapping, because they know this is going to pump and it's going to make money? Obviously, there's no absolutes. It's a mixture of the two. But I don't know, man. Like I want to see by the end of this cycle what, like, at some point I will make it a point to go to like a BTC IRL event, which tisk I haven't gone to. But yeah, I mean, honestly, like they don't have the best reputation for it, right? At least like the last one that I remember, like I recall there were fist fights, which I do like fist fights
at the Bitcoin conference.
Yeah,
oh, dude, that's beautiful.
Remember with like it was in Miami or something. This is like I think like during COVID and all that, but there were some like ruffled feathers and like I guess people got into fights. But I just want to see that same passion culture that I've seen in other ecosystems. I do see it, but I think it's tiny. And I do want to see if Udi is right in this prediction of his, where these degens that, spending a Bitcoin is spending $8 for them, if they will go down that route. Or from what I hear from a lot of people that were having those conversations in ETH Denver, it's like, no fucking way. Man. These dudes are weird. They're on the spectrum. They fucking hate this shit. That's the opportunity.
That's the same thing with what I see in gamers.
But it's hard to convert, Huda. It's not that easy.
It's hard. I totally agree. It's hard, but to me, it's inevitable still. Whether it's, this year or it's a few years down the road, I just think at some point the culture gets so big and so cool, and those guys still sitting on those stacks of Bitcoin are like, oh, fuck it. Okay, that is kind of cool. That's funny. Oh, I like the guy who's running the project. I like Udi now. Like, he's cool. I'm going to get into his project. I got my 5,000 Bitcoin sitting there. Oh, it's 5 Bitcoin to buy a Quantum Cat. He's like, it's that, dude. I think they're going to open it up. I was once a Tezos whale. I'd love to see it.
Let's check it out.
Whale. So at points sitting on 10,000 Tez. When I had 10,000 Tez, I was buying all kinds of shit because I had so much of it, right? Like, It's just it's just the way it works when you're sitting on a lot and you don't have much to spend it on. You're going to be spending it a little more loose, but especially, when you're not having to worry about day-to-day, expenses, and that's what those guys are in a position to do. That's how they live. Yeah, Udi's got that gift where he is very tapped into whatever that thing is. He's tapped into like humanity or whatever. Like he feels it very much like how it's going to play out, how I think it's going to play out. I think he's spot on here. But you're right though. We don't know yet or how far off that is. It's definitely not today.
Here's what I would do. Like if some super Bitcoin whale came over to me and said, "Hey man, I'm looking at Bitcoin NFTs and I'm starting to come around with them. Like I'm kind of fucking with them. Like I know you've been in NFTs for a couple of cycles. What's been your experience? What would you suggest?" And honestly, I wouldn't dissuade him, but I would say I'd probably have done better if I just sat on my ETH.
Yeah.
So if you're really fucking with NFTs, if you really want to pick up one and everything, I would one say, go check out the Discords, really have a conversation, get to know the utility, the community, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Like, I don't know what you're looking for. If you're looking for fine art, then just go for fine art. But if you're looking at these PFPs, like make sure it's something that you enjoy and that you like, and like get one, because from my experience, they can be fickle. They can die out. And sometimes you get emotionally invested into them and they can hurt when it doesn't perform well or it doesn't shit. So in my opinion, my experience, I would have just sat on my ETH the majority of the time and not aped into all this stuff.
Yeah. I can play the opposite side of that because I've seen that for a lot of people. That's probably smart if you have ETH to start. I didn't. And so I did well by trading. And so you have to, maybe you pick one or the other. If you are sitting on plenty, you will do just fine sitting on your ETH and not even gambling and chancing taking losses. But if you're not sitting on a stack, you maybe have to go for some of those opportunities. I want to mention too, English sent some
already.
alpha.
I mean, like you said, you don't really need to this, right? Like, why would you? Were you going to be spending your time in front of a fucking Discord all the time? The only reason you do that is if there's a culture and a community that you really enjoy. If not,
Biggie, part of Udi's point was that you have these people who've made it, right? They don't need anything. They need nothing. They can go to a Bitcoin ATM in Thailand and pull out $200 and like they're good.
And they don't care about games,
but they
right
want
now
to scratch that itch. Yeah. They just want to scratch that itch. We're like all of us are, whether you're gamer, gambler, there's like that common thread that runs through many of us. And I think that was his point. Like they still want to scratch that itch. They already made their money in Bitcoin, but they still got that itch to play. And that's the reason that they would come in. Or one of the reasons that they would come in. It's not about like, I care about this project or I love what they're doing tech wise. Like maybe they will, maybe they won't, but they want to gamble. And they've got all of this money that they can gamble with. And it's in Bitcoin. And that part resonated with me where I was like, yeah, because I think we all know what that feels like. You're sitting on the sidelines for a while. Some of these guys may have been sitting on the sidelines for years and years. And they're just like, I want them to play. And now they got something they can play.
Yeah. And consider this too. There's a cultural thing here. I've lived online. Like what I do now where you see me online all the time, I've always done this since I was a teen. Always. So I feel like I know these people well, the type of person that'll end up doing this. They are gamers. They are on the spectrum. They are fucking weirdos. They're all of those things, and they're gamblers too. That's why I'm like, man, if they're kind of a lot like me, they're gonna buy
but you're like
a
some
JPEG.
type of you're some type of purist gambler then, right? Like because you only want to gamble on BTC.
No,
because you've had access to gamble before. Like if you're really a gambler, you won't care about the risks, right? You won't be a maxi. You'll bridge over your BTC or swap it on a like one of these simple swaps or whatever, and go into ETH, Sol, whatever. Gamble away, son. Like you don't care about the art or the community. You could just gamble. Why haven't they done so? And why are they going to do it all of a sudden in the chain where they're purists and they've been poo-pooing this on other chains? I get it. Like some will be like, oh, now it's on Bitcoin. I just want to see what that percentage is, how big that is, and how you're able to dislodge like this crazy maxi wall of fucking like refusal that's all I've known. Like all I've known is buy Bitcoin, hold Bitcoin, don't spend Bitcoin, don't touch Bitcoin. And now we have this argument, this new world. I want to see the converts, you know?
Well, I think it
love
needs
to
to
hear
be
their
a
take.
small percentage of them. And I also think, like, while I say they're degens and gamblers and all that stuff, they don't have to. It's for the thrill. Like, just for the thrill. And it's also, again, because they're so set, it's just whatever's cool. If something is super cool and they want it, now they can have it. And there's about to be really cool shit on Bitcoin in a way there didn't used to be. You had Bitcoin. That was cool. But now there's going to be JPEGs that, like, everyone's talking about, and those are now cool. They're going to want those.
It's going to be also for the same reason that ETH maxis are now. I mean, I'm by no means somebody in ordinals, but like I have people asking me about ordinals, people that would never have touched them a year ago. I think it's going to be for that same reason. Like eventually you just FOMO in. But and you're right, Biggie. Like there's going to be people who don't because they're purists and they just won't. But there's going to be people who have been saying that same narrative that I said when ordinals first started, which is like, this is stupid, blah, blah, blah. And then eventually you're like, nah, but I want in. So I think, it doesn't have to convert even 10% of them. It could convert 1 or 2% of them and still make a pretty decent impact. When we're talking, 3,000 to 6,000 wallets trading on ordinals, give or take. Like convert 0.5% of those wallets, you're still making a significant impact.
He's hitting that spot in his drive. I know the spot well, which is funny. But no, that's a perfect point. Yeah, I know. Yeah. He always hits a spot on his drive where it does exactly that. But okay, we've already seen some wallets, individual wallets, sweeping up like 50 node monkeys. It doesn't take a lot of those guys to actually have a huge impact on the price. And again, especially in the tiny collections like Quantum Cats. Again, 3,000, 3,300 Quantum Cats. It does not take converting many of those Bitcoin, whales into being a believer, or they don't even have to believe. They can just say, it is cool. It's cool. I like Udi. I want one. It just takes a few of them to really make an impact, really then drives FOMO. So to me, it's just the chance of that happening is so great. Like to me, it's almost a certainty that it happens. So again, it's why I'm so optimistic, so bullish, and why I just believe those prices are going to be just so much higher than a lot of people think. English dropped us some alpha, by the way, and I want to show because again,
I was going to ask you, what are these things?
This is Far, the artist behind the Quantum Cats. This is his first collection. It happens to be the first generative art collection on Bitcoin. So these are from early February last year. They're all sub 50K inscriptions. I don't know if that matters much. Maybe it will, but they have the early provenance. Again, if they are the first gen art collection and Far is really establishing himself as a name, his last collection, Flares, 500 editions, I believe, and they've been holding pretty well onto a 0.1 Bitcoin floor. They're a little under now. Everything's kind of pulled back a bit. But these guys here at 0.34 seems kind of juicy. And I also got to ask English, what do you think? I want to get your price predictions on this. So Far is a new collection coming this week called Early Gans. What do you think of this one, English?
That colorful one is beautiful.
Man,
I'm not sure about the others.
Yeah, let's scroll down. I'm excited. I did get a whitelist for this, so I'm asking for selfish reasons because I'm going to mint. They're minting at 0.033. But if his 500 edition collections, holding, for the most part, holding the 0.1 floor. Maybe they're 0.07 now, but what is a collection that's less than half the size? What do we think the potential is there? Wow. All right. Quarter Bitcoin. I'll take that. I'm trying so hard to work into a node monkey. So I definitely plan to flip out of this, put that aside, and work towards a node. And honestly, with BRC20s, it'll cook right before the halving, and then runes. I think there's gonna be so many opportunities to make some money over there, like huge. I think people are gonna have a real shot at some of those more premium ordinals, maybe a better shot than you realize. Because right now, a lot of this feels out of reach. I don't think it's gonna be. You're gonna attract, like we said earlier, people are gonna go where the liquidity is, and I think it's about to be in Bitcoin in a big way. So all these things, I think you will have an opportunity to get in whatever you want. Just takes a couple big plays. What did Dead say here? 0.13 out of the gate. I like that. 0.11 to 1.5 in the short term. It's like what Flares did too, though. They minted at 0.015, and they hung right around that price for Dutch auction. They minted out.
They started at 0.1.
Yeah, but sold out at 0.015, right?
Yeah. I think through think until 0.015, maybe like 200 of them had sold, give or take. I think maybe like 80 sold around 0.1 or between 0.08 and 0.1. What's the collection size of this new one?
190. So pretty little.
Oh, nice.
So I like those predictions though, like 0.1 to 0.15 in the short term. And again, that's how flares played out. They stayed low. And then when that rush happened, which, like ordinals pulled back, we're going to get another rush into them though. Look, when? I don't know, but I feel like it's not far off. I don't think this little downswing is going to last long, but like that second pump is coming. And I still just think this is the start of the Bitcoin run. Like I still think, going back to that chart, let me find it real quick.
Is this going to be, while you're looking, is this going to be like his thing where he's dropping a collection every other month?
I'm worried about that. He's definitely hot right now, and I think he sees an opportunity. And it's not new art. This is art he made back in 2018. So, like, I am a little worried that Farr is going to just kind of keep dropping collections, keep making Bitcoin from primary sales. And more power to him if he's going to do that. But I do hope there's some thought put into how much is being released. English, any insight into that since you do work with the guy? And by the way, so again, I still think we're at this part of the cycle, including on Bitcoin. I think we're there. We have not had our first real run in Bitcoin yet, and we're going to. So again, all these things combined, Udi's comments, where we're at in the cycle, what give me so much confidence that these floor prices, we're going to be 5 times higher than that. Let's even say we're 2 times higher. That's crazy. That puts a lot of these collections basically at a Bitcoin floor, puts Node Monkeys at 1.2, puts Quantum Cats at 0.6, and I think Quantum Cats are very low right now. If they become what it seems like they're going to become, the face of the evolution of Bitcoin and what brings DeFi and all those things we talked about at the beginning, if they become the face of that, these to me are right on par with Node Monkeys. So I think this is all incredibly cheap right now. And I'll show you what's incredibly cheap right now. This is alpha, and it's not new. You guys have heard me talk about this for a while, but Floriforms, dude, they're down to like 0.008 or 0.08. No, 0.008. Dude, I just think these are a screaming deal. Screaming deal. He was on a podcast or a Spaces with Art on Internet. It's a newer podcast, but basically it's Art Block's engine. And he, I believe, is working hand in hand with them to bring artists over to Bitcoin, to bring users over to Bitcoin, to help with the onboarding process over there. More and more, I see Harto becoming the guy. Like, in a way, the face of generative art on the Bitcoin space. And, man, you get guys like Eli from Proof tweeting about this, saying he thinks this collection is something special, too. Just, man, very bullish on this collection at 0.008. I think this easily gets to 0.1 in the bull market, in the real bull run. What do we call that time? Like that peak FOMO part of the run. Whatever that's called.
Euphoria?
Peak euphoria. Peak euphoria. There's no way these aren't 0.1, but honestly, I think these got a chance to hit a quarter Bitcoin at that point, which would be fucking wild. And I see it. Okay, let's see. Juice. What is Juice, guys?
Juice is a Blast DeFi platform. And I think they're talking about farming Blast points. Marty, the Blast Bull.
English, this 0.025 to 0.05, are you talking about Floras? Because I may be way more bullish on them than you. And time to sell what? Time to sell time. Wow, that's your prediction there, dude. I think much higher than that.
I mean, it is a 10K collection, right, Huda? Yeah. I mean, you if you're going to what, 0.25 BTC, peak euphoria, what's Bitcoin at? I mean, compare it to something like a Squiggle. I'm sorry. I know it's hardo on BTC, but
it's different though.
There's a provenance. There's a lot of other things that come into play. You're going to get a hardo or you're going to get something else. I don't know. Yeah, I think it can be. I don't know, man. When we try to predict these things,
I've learned not to make religions, price predictions. You're usually pretty spot on. Not gonna lie.
It's hard to know. Like, I mean, nobody knows for sure. Obviously, it's so and it's hard. But it's just, again, I keep saying it. I think the numbers we're going to see on Bitcoin, even for people bullish on Bitcoin, I think it's going to blow them away. And so, okay, Flora's, yes, 10K collection and cheap right now, and I'll say that I don't think we've seen our art cycle yet. Even though people have started focusing on art and starting to collect, I don't think we've seen our art cycle, even one.
No.
English sees 0.1 as well, and I'm telling you, I think in that peak euphoria, I can see a quarter. Don't know how long it lasts, but a quarter Bitcoin maybe for, a week, maybe not even that long, but I see us touching that point. And it's simply because we got Node Monkeys, a 10K collection at 0.6. Hard to compare, right? But why not? Because we see Bitcoin Puppets, a 10K collection at 0.2. Because we see Bitcoin Frogs, a 10K collection that hit 0.5. We've seen it before. We believe that the prices are going much higher, and we've not seen the art cycle yet. And the art guy is now really becoming hard to. I think that collection, 0.1 to me feels safe as a top call, but definitely going to hold a couple in case we hit that 0.25. I think there is a real opportunity there. And then, of course, you get in his other premium collections, his golden ratios, his sats, and he is moving all his ETH collections. I don't want to say all. He has said he's not minting on other chains again. He is only minting on Bitcoin. He is bringing his POL collection over to Bitcoin. I think he's bringing over a few others as well. He's bringing over ETH collectors to Bitcoin. It's beautiful. So he is the Bitcoin guy. He is the art guy, and art has not cycled yet. I'll take that English. I'll take that kind of maybe thing. It's possible, definitely possible. And again, nobody knows, but man, we got some juicy opportunities. And the main point is, don't think you missed Bitcoin. Again, we're early 2021 ETH times. You did not miss. Stuff's expensive, but you didn't miss. We're going much higher.
I mean, I think one of the easier plays, right? If you did think you missed, right? Like it's like, okay, I'm not gonna go for a Quantum Cat. I'm not gonna go for a Node Monkey. What can I do right now? I think one of the best plays you can do is just look over to ETH, find your favorite artist, get in their Discord. Most of them are bound to release something on BTC. You have Dez releasing his his monster soon. I'm sure you're going to see a lot more of that. If you already know who has a built-in community, a trajectory of great sales, and just super talented, follow those guys. At some point, you'll be able to get on a whitelist or what have you. I think that's like the easiest call because you already have those proven artists, and they're all looking at Bitcoin. So it's very plausible that they'll release a collection there, and you don't have to be grinding or trying to do crazy calculus to find out who's going to perform well. Other than that, as far as like PFPs though are concerned or stuff, I think those are established. Like those are the ones you see right there.
Yep.
Puppets, Nodes, and Quantum Cats, and Ordinal Maxi Biz, of course. But other than that, I don't know. Are you looking at any more PFP communities on BTC? I sure as hell. I think we're done.
Definitely Natcats.
Like I'm sure there's going to be more, and people are going to try to release more.
Yep.
But I think we're done. Like those 4, maybe 5. Like Ink, I know is coming. Some people are bullish on that, but like,
yep.
I
think the premium ones are established. I'm with you there. I do think there's, but I want to say, because you mentioned, I think you said something like you're not going to focus on those. You're not trying to get them. I would say try. I would say that because I do think there's going to be so much access, so many gains when runes come out in the BRC20 run potentially leading up to it. I think people would be shocked by how much they could potentially make in this cycle. Like right now through meme coins, starting to see those tweets of people saying, I started with 0.05 ETH. I just crossed $1 million. Like that is now happening in these kind of like, meme coin cycles.
Jesus.
That's going to happen here on Bitcoin. I would say maybe just like try to make it a goal to get in these still, even at these prices, because I do think everyone's going to have opportunities for that. Node Monkey still, it's like a 2-to-1 holder ratio. There's under 4,000, there's under 5,000 holders. It's a 10K supply. Again, a lot of guys loaded up with a bunch, but we still got to work through some of that. And I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities still to get in here if they hang around this price. Like, okay, to English's point, if Far's putting out a collection and hopefully in a few weeks you can flip it and make a quarter Bitcoin, or maybe it's a month off or whatever, there's a lot of gains to be had out there that a couple of those puts you into a Node Monkey. One of those potentially puts you into a Quantum Cat. So the opportunities are still there. I don't want people to feel like it's missed yet, because
that's a good call.
Definitely not.
That's a good call, Huda. If you do want one, I do think it's very plausible for you to get into one. No biggie there. That's just my take. I'm focusing mostly on the art. But you never know.
You mentioned something else earlier too. We got these ETH artists coming over to Bitcoin. I am wondering if their success over there translates, and part of me thinks it doesn't. I wish I knew exactly why, but okay, we see guys like Kevin Abosh. Love Kevin Abosh. He's come over to Bitcoin and he has struggled to sell out his collection. I don't know if I have any other examples off the top of my head, but I cannot assume right now until we start seeing more that the success translates. Thank you X came over. His stuff sold out, but I wonder how it's holding up. Let's peek at that here. There's probably none listed. It is what it looks like, but I'm not going to chase ETH guys coming over yet. Just like I don't want to chase ETH projects that are going to come over with their mints here too. Only one I am, just because I got a whitelist and it's early enough where we have not seen many examples of that yet. But I think everyone's going to come over. I think at some point it may be a turnoff to see the ETH guys come over. It might feel a little like grifting when we see that. A little bit. I'm not sure.
The ETH artists, because I'm going to say the ETH collectors have been in this for a long time.
ETH collectors, yes. ETH artists.
I would love that. Oh man, if we could get those metrics, Huda, I'd love to see, for example, how many BTC natives only
how would we see that? I wonder
Node monkeys versus ETH people, right? I'd wager, at least with Node monkeys, that like the vast majority are ETH people, not BTC people,
and especially puppets. I bet even more so. I think you're exactly right. It is mostly ETH people in these. Absolutely. Yeah, it's a good point. I believe in that entirely. Quantum Cats, I wonder a little less because that leans so heavily into the tech.
Smaller community, and they've really focused on, again, building a following and a culture and a community, which I give them kudos for. I think I don't know. I'm drawn to that more. Sometimes it's not as sexy, but long term, I think it's way more sustainable and gratifying. My personal take there.
Agree. Want to point out last week, this is kind of shifting gears, but Magic Eden launched the Ethereum marketplace. But it's not that pushed them to the number one marketplace. It's the ordinals. It's the Bitcoin action. But Magic Eden is now your top NFT marketplace, which is absolutely wild. Woo-hoo! And man, coming, is it this week? I got to look. I think it's this week. Holy shit. This Wednesday is the ETH rewards. Okay, so you OG ETH collectors, you're about to get a stimmy, and we don't know how much. But you are getting some diamond rewards on Magic Eden on March 13th. Those do trade. I don't remember the marketplaces where you can trade some of these things. It's like a black market for points and, like pre-sale meme coins and whatnot. But there's a value that you could basically figure out for these diamonds. So how much are they giving ETH traders? How far back are they going? How rewarding is it going to be? We don't know yet. But man, all attention's on Magic Eden. And if they hook people up here, if they give you a nice little payday, a few grand, whatever, I love what they're doing. Now they're also, let's see if I can find it quick here. They're also going to be rewarding Bitcoin traders. So shit, what is it? Non-fungible DAO.
Oh, that thing, yeah.
Yeah, there's like a hyphen or a space here. Let's see. There it is. Okay, this ties into their DAO. This ties into their NFT token. But not only are they rewarding people with diamonds, which I don't know if we still know utility for it, but there's going to be an actual NFT token. And again, tweeting out here that they're giving this token to Bitcoin traders. So if you're trading ordinals, I mean, Magic Eden has turned into pretty much the best spot for it. So you're also going to get diamond rewards and you're going to get this NFT token. A lot of opportunities there. Magic Eden doing everything right. Dude, absolutely everything right. Man, I've grown into a fan of them and never saw it coming. Magic Eden, did you see this coming from them? I mean, a year ago, did you think they would turn into this?
No.
Yeah, I did. No, been chatting with Magic Eden for a while, like well over a year.
Good guys,
year and a half, maybe. Yeah, it's funny. They're degens, and comparing them to the people at OpenSea who just absolutely suck. Magic Eden, when they were coming to Polygon, like with the Polygon marketplace, and trying to attract ETH collections. Sorry, it was when they were aggregating ETH collections. They reached out to us, and obviously they're huge on Solana, and they understood things differently. So to be honest with you, to me, no surprise at all, but I've known their team and they're just awesome people. They get
That's
it.
So cool.
And I can't wait for us to have a funeral for OpenSea because they suck in ways that people can't even imagine. Their people suck. Their platform sucks, bro. Like,
they don't give a shit,
let's
do
just
they?
organize it. It's even
please.
further than not giving a shit. When we were looking on what marketplace to launch our Genkai collection, and we were debating between Magic Eden, OpenSea. I was a huge fan of Magic Eden. OpenSea, they were the cockiest, shittiest motherfuckers you could imagine. And I love that they are failing miserably because they suck in every way possible.
Man,
So I can't.
fucking brutal, but that's what everybody sees.
Nah,
I
I
see
hate
them
it.
not even trying.
I agree with you, Henry. I hate them.
They're done.
I will gladly celebrate with you, and we can both piss on their graves.
Let's host the
guys.
funeral together, friends. Let's host it together. We'll make it an event, and it can be it can be a somber event for the death of OpenSea.
Mm-hmm.
Henry, I feel like you got to wrap here in a minute, right?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
Then we're gonna end on this, and this has been so much fucking fun to chat about, guys. I appreciate you coming like always. We'll bring it full circle. We talked about ETH struggling, maybe dead, kind of dead. Things are changed on ETH. We'll just say that, and I just want to show how far they've fallen. It, and while we're in a bull market, we are in a bull market in NFTs, and in a bull, these are all down double-digit percentages. In the past 30 days especially, like this ETH shit's in trouble. And the fact that you got people who now, unlike in the bear market, are liquid, are able to spend, want to spend on something at the right price, and a lot of them feel like we are still not at the right price for a lot of these collections, man. Again, I'm worried about ETH NFTs. So price discovery still, like, again, I say that being kind of like a smart ass. They're going to be fine. They're going to be valuable, but how valuable? Will they be as valuable as they were in 2022, even when we hit that peak cycle again? I don't know. Because now everybody's scared about when the bottom drops out, like it will. When we hit another bear market and you see how much you stand to lose, are people willing to put that much into something they know is going to tank again? It's interesting at the very least, guys. So any final thoughts from you guys on ETH, on Bitcoin, things to be looking for?
As to your question there, like, what do you want to what are you going to want to hold and spend your ETH on, knowing that it's going to tank? Well, it's going to be the things that you enjoy holding, right? Like that you're going to be willing to go through another bear cycle, until later. And again, I think like that's the projects that actually have a culture and community attached to them that you personally really vibe with. I think what you're seeing right now is just a lot of speculating. You have obviously the NFT 5 factor that wasn't the factor before, but you also have the meme coin meta, and you have ordinals and the alt chains, right? And so you do have people selling at a loss for opportunity cost to go play somewhere else. Maybe they went over their skis, but this happened last cycle too, Huda. Like Bitcoin rips, everything goes down, alts and NFTs, right? And we're going to continue seeing it. I just find it incredible that some people just didn't expect that or didn't see that. And like immediately, that story, the sky is falling, tale is all this time, right? I mean, shit doesn't go your way and all of a sudden we're dead. I don't think it's the case, folks. But yeah, I think it's important, like Warren Buffett said, to see who's swimming without trunks, right? And like this is the tide going out, and I think it's important to flush some of these crap projects out and just also to reveal like who's got staying power, right? I mean, I see the Kongs doing really well. Maybe there's something there, right? You'd like be interested in checking out. I don't know. Not dead though, in my opinion. I'm not panicking. We'll be fine.
Just yet. No, I'm fucking with you. I think ETH NFTs will be fine. It's just to what degree of fine. They'll be fine though. One last look here at our top collections. And actually, Henry, any final thoughts from you too?
No, I enjoyed the conversation. Agree with mostly everything that we said, and just looking forward to another week. Probably maybe some stuff coming from Kongs, maybe not. Maybe, but always happy to chat with you guys. Yeah, we announced we had a little tweet that went out yesterday. Maybe some more info on that.
Was this the airdrop kind of snapshot thing?
Snapshot taken, yeah. Yep. So
anything you can share there?
No,
nothing.
No.
Let me at least pull up that tweet because that was exciting. We should at least clear up that a lot of people thought maybe a snapshot for Banana. It's not that, right? This is more to do with P&K assets.
Hang on one
Yeah.
second. I'm ordering Subway.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're waiting for that. That's what I think it is, right? So CyberKong's tweeted this out.
Yeah, so this is not the
What
P and K
banana?
assets.
Is it? Oh,
This is-
okay, so something else.
Yeah, correct. It's something else.
We don't know what this is at all. Interesting.
Correct.
Well, then I echo Kong Munity. What? Damn. Okay, wasn't expecting this. I actually I went from thinking banana to then being not let down, but like, okay, it's the P and K stuff. Now to being back in that, oh, holy shit kind of vibe. Like, awesome. Love this. I love the move to Ronin, which, youch. By the way, hang on, I got to mute you, Henry. Kongs, if you didn't know, migrated to Ronin this week officially. So the bridge is open. You can bridge your VX Kongs. You can bridge your Genkais over there. P&K, I think, is next up on the list as far as, game goes live over there. I don't know when exactly. I believe in the next probably 2 months at the most.
Yeah, everybody's good. Thank you.
Seeing if he's done, but he's ordering, I think. Henry, P&K, when does that go live?
It'll be in March.
Okay, good shit. Oh, that's
So-
this month. Holy cow.
That is this month. So
Wow.
yeah, just a few little things that we're updating, and then yeah, it should be fun, man. It'll be kind of released in phases, but yeah, it should be fun. Really,
Beautiful.
really looking forward to it.
Oh, dude, cannot wait. Cannot freaking wait. And I need to get into a baby quick. God, can't wait. Guys, excuse me. So Henry and Biggie, of course, always appreciate you guys taking the time to come this morning, but especially like everyone who's watching right now. I think I feel pretty safe saying this is the most watched live show for a Saturday morning yet. 73 people watching live. I want to say our previous high was last week with about 30 people consistently through the show. Again, channel's growing, guys. The channel's growing. There is much more to come, and I'm just blown away that anybody gives a shit enough to watch this and finds it informative. I appreciate the hell out of it. Like, you guys really wouldn't believe. Like, again, there were no expectations when doing this. Just want to chat with my buddies about NFTs. And we got a lot of guys here who are knowledgeable.
Saturday
We wanna share
morning
that.
DGens. We love you.
Like,
Yeah.
you know,
DGen
this,
hour.
this shit is 24/7. So again, we're just like thrilled that you guys are watching and hopefully learning. And I have learned people have made some moves based off of, some of the insights they've gotten through the channel, which is beautiful. Like, man, if we're winning, and I hope we are, I hope everybody around us is winning too. So keep the vibes going. Again, really appreciate you guys showing up and tuning in and engaging, all that shit. It just, it's pretty incredible. So thank you guys. With that said, we're out of here. Guys, enjoy your weekend. Go see Dune 2 for the 15th time like Biggie. I'm actually finally going to see it today.
Dude, I want to hear it. I want to hear your thoughts, dude.
I got the girls watching it one of my daughters watched it, and she fell asleep, but she tried, and I think she liked it. So I'm taking both the girls to the movie too. But yeah, touch grass. Have a great day. I will keep you updated. Tomorrow, back with the 5-minute morning update. Hitting on the market, the news. You know the story, so be looking out for that. Let's end how we started with chest thump by Eclectic Method. But guys, thanks a lot. Have a great day. We will see you.
Will not hang up the phone until their client either buys or fucking dies! It's over.
Fucking sucks.
Boring, right?
So boring. I want to kill myself.
Fucking rich. Who's rich every fucking time? All we care about is getting fucking rich.
Fairy dust. It doesn't exist. It's never landed. It is no matter. It's not on the elemental chart. It's not fucking real.
YouTube, Facebook, videos,